waking up to another round of punishing airstrikes from Israel. Today marks the 8th day of intense fighting between Israel and Hamas, the Palestinian militant group ruling Gaza, and neither side shows signs of backing down. Hamas firing more than 3,000 rockets amid the current conflict and vowing more as Israeli warplanes and tanks pound the region.
The Palestinian Health Ministry now says 213 Palestinians were killed in Gaza, another 23 in the West Bank. President Biden will visit an electric car factory in Dearborn, Michigan today. He's looking to try to transform the automotive sector for the future, that as Americans feel pain at the pump following the pipeline cyber attack.
It's part of an effort to strike a bipartisan deal before Memorial Day. The GOP senators met with Biden last Thursday to discuss a counterproposal to his $2 trillion plan and promised to offer details of their plan early this week. The White House hopes Congress can pass a final infrastructure bill by the end of the summer.
Changes in mask rules has a lot of people wondering what is allowed and where.
The varying requirements compounded by businesses. Chains like Starbucks, Walmart, Trader Joe's, and Costco, and now Home Depot and Target dropping their mask rules, but only in states without mask mandates. Nearly 2/3 of Americans are not yet fully vaccinated, making some people hesitant.
I'm going to wear mine for a long time until I feel comfortable not wearing it.
But many experts stress the risk of contracting COVID-19 if you're fully vaccinated, it's low.
That's ABC's Ike Jachi. Heavy rains in western Louisiana leaving streets flooded and cars stranded. You're listening to ABC News.
I'm former U.S. Counterterrorism Officer Drew Berquist. In a one-party controlled country whose policies continue to move further to the left, it's hard to find a group willing to stand up for the right. That's why we created Mammoth Nation. We're standing strong for all Americans. Mammoth Nation is America's conservative discount club. As a member, you get great discounts, massive savings on travel, shopping, wireless, sporting goods, even prescriptions. Membership supports conservative businesses and the causes that you care about, like the Wounded Blue. For every total wellness plan purchased, Mammoth Nation will donate a plan to a police officer in need. This provides critical support to our law enforcement community. It's just one of the things that makes Mammoth Nation so great. And it's so affordable. If you join now, you get a 30% discount on an annual membership. Normally $29 this month, just $19. It can pay for itself with just one purchase, so go to mammothnation.com and become a lifetime member today.
One person under arrest and being questioned in connection with the murder of a 4-year-old boy in Dallas. Officers say surveillance video shows 18-year-old Darian Brown taking Cash Jaron out of his bed and carrying him away. Brown right now is only facing kidnapping charges. City Council in Columbus, Ohio, unanimously approving a $10 million settlement with the family of a black man shot and killed by police just days before Christmas. Former Officer Adam Coy facing murder charges in the death of Andre Hill. As more people start flying again, United Airlines says it's adding about 400 flights to its July schedule. That also means more travelers getting in trouble. ABC's Megan Tavrizian says 1,300 cases of unruly passengers have been reported since February.
This past Sunday, a JetBlue flight from New York to San Francisco was diverted to Minneapolis after a passenger began making stabbing motions at flight attendants and others on board.
It was also observed erratic behavior and snorting a white substance.
Oh, okay.
The tense moments going viral.
You are a liar. You're a liar.
And on Southwest flight earlier this year, a woman was kicked off for refusing to wear a mask. Other passengers applauding as she leaves.
One passenger who hit a flight attendant and tried to open the cockpit door fined over $52,000. This is ABC News.
O'Reilly. Don't miss out on Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. If your car could use a spring cleaning, stop by for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new. Like Mother's California Gold Wash and Wax, just $4.99 for a 64-ounce bottle. That's a $6 savings. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
You know, folks are saying once you've used a Massey Ferguson, you won't ever want another tractor. They're tough, versatile, and dependable. And now with the change of season special at NC Tractor and Farm Supply, you'll be wise to get your special deal. Our tractors have been running in families for generations. Ask about the Phil Sheehan special going on right now. NC Tractor, 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. Call 288-0395.
We're going to see a big warm-up as we head into the next several days. Today will be the last spring-like day of the week, with temperatures climbing into the low to upper 70s and a few spots getting into the lower 80s. A few early spotty showers will be possible, but for the rest of the day, we're going to be cloudy. Overnight temperatures will dip into the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow will be warmer, with highs near normal will reach the low to mid 80s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
In other words, it's going to feel like summertime after this. Is that what you're saying, Peter? Just shake your head, Yep, it's going to be like summertime. Right now it's 60 degrees, and by Sunday it's going to be up in 91. And sunny skies all this week. Sunny skies all this week. No rain in the forecast. Maybe a drop in once in a while, but nothing major. Right now it's time for the death announcements here on the program. Walter Lee G., age 58, passed away Monday at Rutherford Hospital. A celebration of Walter's life will be held 12 o'clock Wednesday, May 19th at Crow's Funeral Chapel, with Reverend Glenn Head officiating. Burial will follow in the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church Cemetery. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time. Crow's Mortuary assisting the family of Walter Lee G. Floyd Graham Painter Jr., 65 of Bostic, passed away Thursday, May 13th at his home. Memorial services will be held 3 p.m. Friday, May 21st at Crow's Chapel, with Reverend Miles Inslee officiating. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory services in charge of these arrangements for Floyd Graham Painter Jr. Debbie Ware, age 63 of Mooresboro, passed away Tuesday, May the 11th. A memorial service will be conducted at 11 o'clock Saturday, May 22nd at Victory Baptist Church in Ellenboro, with Reverend Johnny McCarty officiating. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services serving the family of Debbie Ware of Mooresboro. Joseph Joe Hemrick, age 77 of Ellenboro, passed away Thursday, May 13th at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The family will receive friends from 6 until 8 o'clock today at Harrelson Funeral Home. Harrelson Funeral Home serving the family of Joseph Joe Hambrick of Ellenboro. Stanley R. Grindstaff, 52 of Forest City, passed away Saturday, May 15th. A memorial service will be conducted at 2 o'clock Wednesday, May 19th at Googe Creek Baptist Church. The Reverend Glenn Walker will officiate. The visitation will be from 5 until 8 p.m. today at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home. Washburn and Dorsey is serving the family of Stanley R. Grindstaff. Sarah Jane Hawkins, age 87 of Ellenboro, passed away Friday, May 14th at her daughter's residence in Shelby. The funeral service will be conducted today, Tuesday, at Racepath Baptist Church with Reverend Randall Cooper and Reverend John Bridges officiating. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. The family will receive friends from 6 until 8 o'clock at the funeral home. That was last night. They received friends. And Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Service is serving the family of Sarah Jane Hawkins of Ellenboro. Complete information on these and others as they become available to us can be heard this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report. As we get the complete information in, we'll share that information with you, our listeners. Now stand by for the morning update of news from around the county coming up right after the Rush Limbaugh Morning Update and Chronicles of the Old West. And then we'll get right into the phone calls. You won't miss a thing if you'll stay right close by the radio. Maybe pour yourself an extra cup of coffee and a bagel maybe, or Pop-Tart or something. What do you eat for breakfast? Let's enjoy the morning report coming up. Braves had a bad night last night. Mets beat them 3-1. They'll go at it as if they can do better tonight. We'll join that pregame following News 13 at 6. First pitch is 7:15.
Politico just ran an article arguing that there's a desperate need to reduce regulations that are holding our economy back. Now, their focus was on the number of jobs that now require an occupational license. Most of the impact is at the state level. In some states, there are over 70 professions that require an occupational license, including working as an interior decorator or even a delivery man. And that doesn't include a lot of other jobs that require some sort of licensing by local governments. Now, okay, it might not sound like a big deal, just go get a license, right? But it's not that easy. Let's say you want to cut hair, become a barber. On average, in order to get the government's permission, a person has to spend over a year in training and then pay $130 in fees. In Nevada, the education and training period to cut hair is 2.5 years. In one state, Alabama, it's hassle-free, no license needed. You want to cut hair? Set up shop, grab some scissors, and have at it. To become an interior designer in Nevada, Louisiana, Florida, and D.C., you better be prepared to spend 6 years of your life in training and fork over 400 smackers before you can tell somebody how to rearrange furniture. Those examples are just the tip of the iceberg, folks. Government regulators are just out of control. Big government regulations, killing opportunities, killing jobs, strangling the economy, and electing Democrats.
Buck Sexton here. The value of the U.S. dollar will continue to slump due to unprecedented money printing. It's more important than ever to protect your savings and retirement from inflation. Many Americans have already turned to a proven method to protect what we worked hard to earn, real gold. Imagine taking possession of real gold and silver delivered privately to your homes or put into your IRA or 401k. How do you get real gold and silver? By calling the Oxford Gold Group at 833-404-GOLD. The Oxford Gold Group will teach you everything you want to know about owning real gold and silver. Call the Oxford Gold Group right now at 833-404-GOLD to get your free precious metals investment guide. The Oxford Gold Group has helped thousands of people protect their savings and retirement from the unknown. Call them right now at 833-404-GOLD. That's the Oxford Gold Group at 833-404-GOLD.
Are you or your loved one struggling with addiction? Your road to recovery can start now with a free confidential phone call to American Addiction Centers, the largest network of addiction treatment facilities in the U.S. Our success rate is double the national average. Why? Because we can relate to your struggle with drugs and alcohol. Our founder's been sober for over 25 years, and our staff has nearly 500,000 days of sobriety combined. Our treatment addresses the disease of addiction with a holistic mind and body approach. We're so confident in your recovery that we're the only addiction treatment provider with a 90-day promise. Call now to find out more about our promise and how we can help you or a loved one recover from drug and alcohol addiction. The help you need is covered by most major insurance programs.
800-448-2314. 800-448-2314. 800-448-2314. That's 800-448-2314.
WCAB, Rutherfordton.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
William Sublette was the eldest of 5 brothers. It's possible his having a handful of brothers developed in him a much more sociable attitude than most mountain men. When William was 24, he started on his ventures as a member of fur trader William Ashley's second expedition up the Missouri River. It was a disaster, with Indians killing and wounding many of the traders and taking most of their supplies. But shortly afterwards, Sublette was back in the same area, this time with Jedediah Smith. For safety, they took what was to become the South Pass through the Rocky Mountains. By the age 27, Sublette was an experienced mountain man, so he and some others purchased Ashley's Fur Trading Company. On May 12, 1832, William went to a rendezvous in Pierre's Hole, Idaho. He traded goods and had a reunion with his brother Milton. The middle of July, Milton and some other trappers headed out to the Snake River. The trappers ran into a group of Indians. One of the men shot a chief, which resulted in an all-out battle. Word got back to the rendezvous, and Sublette and 200 men came to the rescue. They attacked the Indians head-on. Unfortunately, the well-entrenched Indians killed 32 trappers. In the process, Sublette was wounded in the face by an arrow. From that time forward, he had a nickname, Cutface. 4 years later, Sublette returned to civilization and became a businessman, gentleman farmer, and politician in St. Louis, Missouri, until he died of tuberculosis in 1845. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
16 minutes after 7 on this terrific Tuesday morning. Some interesting stories from the Wild, Wild West. Now let's bring it closer home and see what's been happening around our neighborhood. On the phone with you right now is Sheriff Chris Francis to give us an update. Sheriff, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Hope you are.
I am. Unfortunately, we got a few interesting stories as well.
All right. Let's hear some of them.
All right. Jim, the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded to 168 calls of service. There have been 23 arrests processed at county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 171. Among those arrested, Ethan Mitchell King, a 31-year-old male of Boston, was charged with possession of controlled substance in prison. That happened at the Spindale campus there at State Prison. Received a $5,000 additional bond in addition to what sentence he's already serving. Keenan Jarrell Ramsey, 29-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with larceny and received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Tasha Phoenix Trotter, 42-year-old female of Forest City, was charged with failure to appear and received a $1,000 secured bond. Melinda Sue Fowler, 35-year-old female of Ellenboro, was charged with felony failure to appear and received a $10,000 secured bond. Anthony Ray Melton Jr., 37-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with 3 counts of breaking and entering into a motor vehicle and larceny and received a $15,000 secured bond. John Scott Carver, 67-year-old male of Rutherford, was charged with failure to appear, 6 counts, and received a $2,000 secured bond. Tony Wendell Bullock, 52-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with failure to comply, received a $250 cash bond. Donald Lee Spohn, 35-year-old male of Spindale, was charged with 3 counts of failure to appear, received a $1,250 secured bond. Jamie Jeanette Bailey, 29-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with 3 counts of breaking and entering to motor vehicle, misdemeanor larceny, possession with intent to sell and deliver, Schedule 2, and received a $11,000 secured bond. Bradley Aaron Dalton, 28-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 unsecured bond. Brandon Nicholas Sprouse, 23-year-old male of Union Mills, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secured bond. Nancy Marie Goose, 38-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secured bond. Haley Summers Ammons, 28-year-old female of Forest City, was charged with assault and received a district court judge for bond. Nathan Lee Aaron Hauser, 29-year-old of Mooresboro, was charged with assault with a deadly weapon, injury to property, received a $1,500 secured bond. Among our incidents, we had an injury to property and willful interfering with a firefighter, Highway 120 in Mooresboro. Firefighters responded to report of several fires on the individual's property. That individual threw a tire iron and hit one of the firemen's, I believe, personal vehicle, as well as didn't want them to put out the fire. It's still under investigation by the Fire Marshal's Office. We had a larceny of a motor vehicle, Mount Olive Church Road in Ellenboro. It was a 1995 Ford F-150 burgundy in color, valued at $1,100. it was reported at 9:45. The owner and a relative had stepped out to look at some timber and left the vehicle on the side of the road for just about 5 minutes, and they heard it take off. It was located just prior to 11 o'clock at the railroad crossing near Kaiser Road. Same had been wrecked and was on fire at the time that it was located, and that is still under investigation as well. We had a breaking and entering and larceny in Boston Sunshine Highway. It's a storage unit. There was a wooden dresser that was taken, a red suitcase set valued at $100, a black filing cabinet valued at $50, a blue and white steamer valued at $20, a gold trim full mirror valued at $150, and 2 dish sets valued at $60 taken in that instant. We had a larceny from Farmside Drive in Forest City. Individual sent money to a relative in Georgia to pick up a vehicle that she allegedly had won there. And this was, again, allegedly to pay for fees. Unfortunately, that relative took a large portion of that money, and she didn't get her money back or the vehicle that she allegedly had won, which I'm always worried that was a scam to begin with, but it was a relative she sent the money to. And did not get that money back or what was promised. And we had a breaking and entering to motor vehicle on Walls Church Road in Boston. The dash had been gone through, but nothing appears to be missing. And, Jim, that's what we have to report this time.
Look, things are picking up again, seems like.
I believe yesterday was one of the busiest days. When you hear 23 arrests, that's a lot. But you have to remember, a lot of those are failure to appears. And again, it goes back to a lot of interesting things going on. Bondsmen getting people out 1-2%, and it's just people don't show up for court sometimes when that happens. And still got a little bit of folks that had some court dates 4, 5, 6 months ago that were kind of messed up because of COVID. So we're still getting through that as well. But there's a lot going on for sure.
And there are some folks out there that just don't believe cow horns will hook.
You know what? We got to get that legal system just tough enough that to make believers. I believe that if you're a little bit strong on that, and you don't have to wait too long for it, that you'll be a quicker believer if you see it instead of just somebody telling you it's going to happen, and then 6 months, a year, 18 months later, something happens. That doesn't make believers out of most people. You see that in schools.
You're absolutely right. I wish we could indeed work toward getting that done.
Yes, sir.
Sheriff, thank you for that report. Thank you for the clarity of it. And you be safe out there, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Bye-bye. Sir Chris Francis in this morning, 23 now past 7. And wouldn't it be nice to get medical attention and not have to leave your home? Now you can, thanks to Remote MD. Remote MD is pleased to announce they have initiated a telemedicine program for residents in North Carolina. The telemedicine program is available to all residents in North Carolina, including Rutherford and Polk counties. It is designed to treat common medical illnesses right from your home. Now, isn't that great? No appointment is necessary, no waiting for days to see someone. This is a wonderful opportunity for people who are struggling financially or have a complicated insurance plan. But your health is important to you, and you want attention now. There are no copays or deductible, and unlimited usage programs start at just $59.99 a month. Learn more about this program. Contact Remote MD today at www.remotemd.net. Again, that's www.remotemd.net. Now let's check in with 911 Communications Center. Is this Kylie?
Yes.
Good morning. What's on your report today?
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 464 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 56 for EMS, 28 for rescue, 168 for the Sheriff's Office, 69 for Forest City, 5 for Lake Lure, 40 for Rutherfordton, 42 for Spindale. Allsec responded to a smoke non-structure and Ellenborough assisted. Cliffside responded to a structure fire with Ellenborough, SDO, and Sandy Mush assisted. Cherry Mountain had a motor vehicle accident. Forest City had a motor vehicle accident. Rutherford had a motor vehicle accident. SDO had a motor vehicle accident, and Sandy Mush had a motor vehicle accident, and that's all we have.
Thank you very much. You have a great day.
You too.
Thanks.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
And we're checking in now over in the Shiloh Danieltown area, SDO Fire District. And we have Ruby Taylor on the phone to give us that update. Ruby, good morning.
Good morning.
You feeling good today?
Yeah, I got to get it's told hot. I got to get out and get my grass cut.
Oh, boy. That's a chore, isn't it?
I love to go grass.
Yeah.
The fire department had 2 calls. They assisted Cliffside on a structure fire along with 2 other departments and a vehicle accident. And on my birthday calendar, I got Pam Davis, Madison Baynard, Ronnie Radford, Margie Green, and Sidney McCraney having birthdays, and Mr. and Ms. Alan Tony having an anniversary today. And hope all these people have a nice day, and the signs are in the heart today and going to the bowels tomorrow. And Jim, that's all I got.
You be careful out there on that moor. Don't get too hot.
Okay. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye. Ruby Taylor reporting in from Danieltown. Now, it's 26 after 7. Let's check in with Henson Building Materials.
Cheryl, have you been to the Homeworks Design Center inside Henson Building Materials in Forest City?
Oh, yes. Shana, David, and William are incredible at designing kitchen and bath cabinetry for my new she shed.
Your what?
And they have a full line of windows and doors on display in their 5,000 square foot showroom. And they'll install any ones you pick out for me.
Oh, you're too good to me.
I know. With selling and installing, it's basically one-stop shopping.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Gary Wilson is up next. He's up in the Fairfield Mountains Fire District, Bills Creek Fire District, and reporting to us today. Gary, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, quiet start up here this morning. Warm this morning, a little bit overcast, but no rain or anything. Sitting on about 64 degrees, but the heat's going to crank up this week, sounds like.
I believe summer's just about ready to come.
Yeah, I believe we can ride off any snow this week, that's for sure.
I think you're right.
But we're sitting on about 64 this morning, quiet overnight. The last 24 hours, no calls, and ready for another day and see what it brings us. And hope everybody has a good one, and we'll try to hold it down up here.
Keep us posted, Gary, and you have a great day up there.
All right, you too. Have a good one.
Bye. Gary Wilson reporting in this morning, 28 minutes now past 7 o'clock. And we have Braves-Mets game again this evening. Mets beat the Braves last night 3-1, and we'll have another game this evening. And we'll pick that game up following News 13 at 6, and the first pitch is at 7:15.
Good morning. These are your headlines. Market declines, unemployment, oil prices. These can be pretty scary. Hi, I'm your Edward Jones financial advisor, Andrew Tisdale. And I'll work with you to help you understand the impact of these just short-term events and how it's not going to affect your long-term goals. We can provide the tools and the reasoned, disciplined approach on how to invest. So please, don't let these headlines derail your long-term financial strategy. Call us today, 828-287-9197. Our office is located in the Food Line Plaza in Rutherton. This was Edward Jones,
Hodges on the
Making
radio.
Sense
He's
of
on
Investing,
the telephone
and a
via
member
the radio,
of the
on radio
SIPC.
via the telephone one
Bye.
and he's over in Hudlow Fire District. Bob, you doing okay today?
We're doing mighty fine up here on this Tuesday morning.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, right?
That's right. A beautiful day in the making over here. And you're looking good over there. That sun's coming up and see you good this morning. You're looking sharp over there. And with the fire department, it's been quiet. With the fire department, it's been pretty quiet. When next one medical call, hadn't had any fire wreck calls. And everything else going along pretty quiet up here.
Well, you're doing a good job keeping things together up there. I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you. Well, we try, but we try to keep everything peaceful up there. But sometimes it gets out of control. But
Yeah.
everything's all right there. So
Sometimes you have to
But,
walk softly and carry a big stick. You know what I'm saying?
walk softly and carry a big stick. That's right there. That's the old saying, ain't it? So,
Yeah.
But Jim, that's about it up here, and you take care, and I hope you have a good day.
Well, thank you, Bob. I appreciate that, and I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bob Hodge reporting out of the Hudlow Fire District this morning, 30 minutes after 7.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Now let's see what's been happening over in the Cherry Mountain Fire District. Sue Price is on the phone to give us all the news. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Hope you are.
I am indeed.
Well, good. It's a beautiful morning out here. It's going to be quite different when it gets up to 90 degrees, though, isn't it?
Well, it's going to be a big difference Sunday, I tell you.
We got used to this cooler weather. Anyway, we have to take what comes. It'll be all right. Well, let's see. I didn't have any calls from the fire department. I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on my church calendar. On my personal calendar, I got a birthday for Heather Thorpe. So hope Heather's going to have a good day. And Fairview's got a birthday for Jamie Blackwell. So we hope Jamie will have a good day. And First Sprout didn't have anything for today, so not too many celebrating, but we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And in my announcements, the Duncans Creek Presbyterian Church will be having memorial service on June the 6th, and special singers will be the Piney Mountain Boys, so looking forward to our Memorial Day. And so far, I guess that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm over this way, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Thanks, so. I hope you have one, too, and I will check back in your area tomorrow morning.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, and bye-bye. Now, in just a moment, we're going over to the Drop-In Family Mart there in Boston, see what kind of breakfast specials they've got going on. And they're always good, they're always fresh, and they're always eager to serve you. But meantime, we need to check on the air conditioner unit, make sure it's up and running smoothly for these hot days coming ahead. Here's somebody you can call and make sure that's happening. When you hear someone say, I have finally found a heating and air conditioning company I can depend on, and you say, who? And they say, Immaculate Heating and Air Conditioning. So then you find out more, and you learn Immaculate will do a spring checkup special on your air conditioner for only $49.99. Hot weather coming soon, and you want to be ready for it with a hassle-free air conditioner. Get it inspected during the spring checkup for the special price of $49.99. You can book online at www.immaculateheatingandair. That's immaculateheatingandair.com. Just click the green book online button at the top of the page or call 755-8150. By the way, this $49.99 spring special is for a limited time. Now, here's a lady that knows how to cook a good breakfast. It's Jessica over at Drop-In Family Mart in Boston. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You frying some bacon?
I am. As a matter of fact, I am as we speak. I guess you can hear it.
I can hear it, yeah. That's good.
Yes. So everybody come on down and see us this morning. We got bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits, sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits. We got breakfast pizza. You can get a hunk for $3.19, or you can get 2 hunks for $6.19, or you can even also get a whole for $10.99. We do have gas. I'd like to let everybody know that real quick. We do have gas as of right now. Don't know how long that will last. It is a $20 limit. We had to put a limit on it because people was coming in here left and right, so we put a $20 limit on there for now. Hopefully things will get back to normal pretty soon. In the meat department today, they have the grass-fed ribeye steak for $11.99 a pound, and the new fresh salmon is really good. I took some home the other night and I grilled it and it was awesome. It's $9.99 a pound. Our truck comes in tomorrow morning, so we'll have fresh produce, milk, whatever your accessory needs are, we should have. If for some reason we don't have something that you would like, just come up to me or Audrey, ask for Jessica or Audrey, and we can try to order it for you. Also, keep in mind our hours are Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 p.m., 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., and then Sundays the deli is closed, but the store is open from 11 to 6. Also, reminder, all drop-ins are in desperate need of help. I hate to put it that way, but we are in desperate need of help. I think there's a lot more people that are in desperate need of help. But if you're interested in a job, please come by and see me or Audrey, or you can even go by the office and fill your application out, and maybe you can speak to the owner himself, and we can get something worked out for you. But if you're interested, please keep us in mind.
All right. I'm just glad there's not a shortage of bacon and eggs, aren't you?
I know, that's right.
Listen, you have a wonderful day over there and keep up the good work, and we'll check back in with you next time.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day.
Bye. That's the Drop-In Family Mart there in Boston, right across from the post office, where you can always find something good to eat this time of morning. Go check it out. 7:37, and we're going over to Shingle Hollow right after we do a little reclining.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as the spring and summer colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Coopers Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Tina White, is it nice and quiet up in the Shingle Hollow area, or has it been busy?
Oh, it's been nice and quiet. No fire calls for Shingle Hollow or Green Hill. It's been real quiet up here. It's a beautiful morning. 61 degrees up here. I think you had like 64. We're usually about the same, but same 61. But it's going to get warm, isn't it?
Yeah, we have 60 right now here. Yeah, it's going to warm up to summertime weather by the weekend.
I know. I'm looking forward to it.
You got your swimming pool open?
No, my swimming pool's one of those little kiddie pools. When it gets so hot, we can go out and wade in it.
Mine's a hose pipe connected to the faucet outdoors.
Mike and Alice Hodge will let us come up and swim, and Debbie and James Haynes, they both have pools, and they'll let us swim over there anytime we want. So I'm very thankful to have such great friends.
That is great, yeah.
Shingle Hollow is a wonderful place to be. So, for announcements, White House Community is at the clubhouse having breakfast this Saturday. Everything you can imagine. Buffet breakfast, pancakes, biscuits, potatoes, grits, sausage, gravy, liver mush, homemade applesauce, homemade jams and jellies, honey, molasses, $6 for adults, $3 for children that are 6 to 12, and 5 and under are free. Everybody come on out and have a good breakfast, 7 to 10 this Saturday at White House Community Clubhouse. And no birthdays today on either church calendar either, so we're just all quiet up here.
All right. You're doing a good job, and I appreciate it. Thank you. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Well, thank you, Jim, and thank you for what you do, and God bless you, and stay safe out there.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 7:40, Tuesday morning report continues around the county.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Union Mills is our next stop. Union Mills, North Carolina, US of A. Let's check on Brenda Kelly and see if what's going on. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this terrific Tuesday morning?
I'm feeling great. Hope
well,
you're
I'm glad
feeling
to
great.
hear it.
Yeah.
I am. I'm just on top of the world up here.
Good. You are just about sure up.
Anyway, I've got 54 degrees on the front porch, and in ways of announcements, the White House Community Breakfast will be May the 22nd from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., and the price is adults $6, children 6 to 12, 3, and 5 and under is free. And I reckon that's all the announcements I've got so far. It's just short, sweet, and quiet up here.
It's going to be a nice week up there, so enjoy.
I will. Have to turn the air on, won't I?
Yes, yes. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, catch you later.
Bye-bye. That's the calendar report from Union Mills. The Ellenboro Report is next. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Come take advantage of the springtime sales event and get the automobile you've been wanting. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. All right, we're going over to Ellenboro now. I believe we have Luther on the telephono. Let's see if we do. Good morning, Luther. How are you doing? Better?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Are you?
I don't know if I don't know if I'm much better or not.
Well,
maybe a little bit.
Well,
My people try to States. Maybe one of them's what's doing the noise. We'll see.
Well, I hope you're going to continue to improve. Are you under medication now?
Yeah. If I continue to improve, I got a lot of kitchen up to do.
Yeah. Well, I hope it's not going to keep you down too long because you're too active to be in the bed. You need to be out and about.
Yeah. Well, not in bed, just around the house.
Yeah. When do you go back to the doctor?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, maybe he'll give you a clean bill of health.
Maybe give me a cup once for my house.
Yeah.
Give her all that powder.
Yeah.
I know we've had a good day there. Be quiet. Fourth one, I had one medical call. Other than that, they're quiet. That's going on. With them, that's going on. You have a great day, man.
Well, you get better. You keep improving, Luther.
I'm going to try my best. You take care.
We'll see you now. Bye-bye. Boy, he doesn't sound too good, does he? I hope he's going to continue to improve. He sounds like he's really not doing well. But so maybe put him on your prayer list across the county and see if he can improve him some. All right, it's birthday time and anniversary time here on this 18th day of May 18th. If you are celebrating a birthday or anniversary, let us celebrate with you. We'll give you a big shout-out this morning. Just call Todd at 287-3356, 287-3356. and we'll celebrate with you. And all of this is courtesy of Granny's Bakery. Granny B's over there now serving pizza, and you'll find these pizzas absolutely delicious. Folks are telling me, I've not yet tried one. I've got to do that, but folks are telling me, I've done a little survey when I was in there the other day. They tell me that's the best pizza around. Pizza's made like they used to make them a long time ago with the crust just right, and you get your choices of several different toppings, and they'll have that ready for you in no time. So give those pizzas a try, and also remember, they got the best donuts around. That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today. While they're fresh, they're good, they're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. No birthdays called in this morning. Nobody's celebrating, and nobody's getting older. They're just holding, maintaining their age, which is okay, I guess. But one of these days, the birthday's going to break loose here, and we're going to have a lot of birthdays. Now stand by, we have Keys to Confident Living coming up here in just a few moments, and we'll take you down memory lane with a couple of classic oldies to remind you that's what we do through the middle of the day. From this morning will be 9:30 until 11:30, and this afternoon 3 until 5, classic oldies. My Great America with Jim and Butch is 9:05 this morning. Stay tuned right where you are and you won't miss it. Andrew Tisdale coming in a little after 8 o'clock this morning to make some sense of our finances. Birthday, Martha Taylor from Caroline, celebrating today. Martha, good morning and happy birthday.
The bald eagle was at the brink of extinction 2 decades ago, but it has made such a dramatic recovery that the Interior Department wants to remove it from the endangered species list. It marks a renaissance for the stately bald eagle, the nation's symbol for more than 2 centuries. The number of eagles has grown from 800 to 8,000 during the last 20 years in the lower 48 states. How can we make dramatic comebacks like that of the eagle? How is this possible? The psalmist said, God satisfies our desire with good things, so that our youth is renewed like the eagles. For the eagle, there is the molting process, when the old set of feathers are cast off and a new set begin to grow back. What the eagle does is to get on the rocks and let the sun bring the warmth and renewal to its frame. And like the eagle, when we have become tired and weary, when the battle of life and the storms of temptation have knocked the stuff out of us, we also need to get to a place of renewal and molting. Rather than just the S-U-N, we need to get alone with the S-O-N of righteousness, who comes with healing in his wings, and let his love and warmth renew us. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
WCAB, Rutherford.
ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Flash flood emergency in southwest Louisiana, and more rain is on the way.
The deluge submerging whole neighborhoods in Lake Charles, where more than a foot of rain fell Monday. Rescuers and volunteers from the Cajun Navy pulling people from nearly 80 homes there. And in nearby Texas, nearly 10 inches of rain leaving residents on edge after 2 tornadoes and severe storms wreaked havoc this weekend.
That's ABC's Marcus Moore. ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z has more on the forecast for today.
Flash flood emergencies close to Baton Rouge, warnings including New Orleans, and a watch from Lawton, Oklahoma to Morgan City, Louisiana, even parts of Mississippi. So if you get a warning, don't drive. That's how you survive these types of storms, because people really do get injured and killed when they get in the car.
Where it's not rainy, people are going out again, but the new mask mandates from the CDC have left a lot of them wondering what the proper rules are now.
I'll tell you, it's confusing when you go into a restaurant. I mean, do you wear your mask for 3 steps and take it off? It's just, it causes a lot of confusion, and I'm hoping it's not hurting our local businesses.
Brian Banks in California, where mask rules stay in place until mid-June. New York is easing up on restrictions this week. In the Middle East, more shelling and more airstrikes. Also, more people killed. ABC News senior White House correspondent Mary Bruce.
For the first time, President Biden is publicly expressing support for a ceasefire, but he did so in a very carefully worded statement, stopping short of calling for an immediate halt to the violence or setting any kind of deadline.
Palestinians across Israel and the occupied territories are on strike today against Israel's policies. That unexpected protest could once again widen the conflict that has only been growing since May 10th. Today, a group of Senate Republicans will meet with the Transportation and Commerce secretaries about a smaller infrastructure plan than the one the White House is pushing. You're listening to ABC News.
This is good news, maybe exactly when you need it to. Right now, MediShare is waiving their new member fees. This could save you money on top of all that you'll save each month by becoming a member of MediShare. So many people are looking for a healthcare solution right now, seeing the cost of COBRA plans, for instance, and MediShare is the affordable alternative to health insurance. The typical family saves $500 a month. You might save even more. MediShare is a Christian community that shares each other's healthcare costs, and because of the current economic situation, they're making it easier than ever. Apply by May 30th, and you can save an additional $170 on your first month. I'll give you the number here in a second, and if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Just tell them the promo code SHARE to receive your additional savings. Maybe now is the time to make the switch like more than 400,000 people already have and start saving. Here it is. Call 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
The Board of Supervisors in Maricopa County, Arizona, Democrats and Republicans alike, have had it with a vote recount in their county, organized by supporters of former President Trump. Republican Jack Sellers chairs the board.
People's ballots and money are not make-believe. It's time to be done with this craziness.
He and his fellow supervisors blasting the Arizona State Senate president and the Florida auditors that were hired for the recount. Democratic supervisor Steve Gallardo.
The election wasn't in question until a couple days after the final vote count. That's when all of a sudden, whoa, there might be a problem. We don't like who won the election, so let's call into question. Let's start rumors and unfounded statements and conspiracies.
The U.S. Capitol Police now say threats to members of Congress have more than doubled this year. Several lawmakers say they have boosted security for themselves and their families after the January 6th riot. Money for that security likely a part of a budget bill up for a vote this week. And another big entertainment deal may be brewing.
Hours after official word that Warner Media was merging with Discovery, another possible media marriage, Amazon said to be wooing MGM, the studio behind James Bond, The Hobbit, and 4,000 other films, along with about 17,000 episodes of TV, ranging from Fargo to The Voice. Variety says Amazon is offering around $9 billion as the streaming service looks to deepen its content library.
That's ABC's Jason Nathanson in Hollywood. This is ABC News.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? Our professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts recommend all the best products to get the job done right. Like 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil on sale now just $28.95. And we'll make sure you have all the supplies you need, including a filter, funnel, shop towels, drain pan, and more. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Sherry Preston.
Jesse James Railroad Express is becoming the Rutherford County hotspot with new lunch menu, quarter-pounder Angus beef burger topped with bacon, cheddar cheese, bang-bang sauce, and onion rings, or the new 5-3-1 burger, half-pound charbroiled Angus burger with special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a toasted bun. It's everything that Big Mac wishes it could be. On top of that, milkshakes, hand-dipped ice cream also available. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 until 4. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Call them at 828-447-4644. 99-cent hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions, Mondays only. That's 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. All aboard.
We're going to see mostly dry conditions today, but we'll have to get past the small rain chance that we have in place early. By the afternoon, a lot of cloud cover will stick around, and we could see some of those clouds try to break apart. High temperatures today will top in the low to upper 70s and lower 80s. Tomorrow morning, we'll start the day with temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. By the afternoon, we'll reach the low to mid 80s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Currently, we're 61 degrees, still cloudy out there, but the sun may be coming up here after a while. We're getting up to 76 for a daytime high with light wind. And then the heat really comes in here on Sunday at 91 for a daytime high on Sunday and light wind. Light wind all of this week, as a matter of fact. I don't see any chance of rain, but you never know. May's all about that. It may rain, it may not rain. So we'll wait and see what that weather forecast is going to be for the rest of the month. It's Tuesday morning, and Andrew Tisdale is in the Blue Room, and we'll talk with him in just a moment.
Smith's Drugs of Forest City is taking appointment times for the COVID-19 vaccination. There are two ways to schedule an appointment. First, go to our website at www.smithsdrugsfc.com and click on the COVID-19 vaccination tab. Then fill out the consent form, choose your group, and at that time you'll be able to choose an available appointment time. Second, you can just call our pharmacy to schedule an appointment time, and we can help you fill out the consent form over the phone. We also, at times, do have some vaccines available later in the evening, and these are posted on Facebook when we do. If you have any questions or concern, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
As I mentioned, Andrew Tisdale, financial advisor with Edward Jones, is in the building with me, ladies and gentlemen. He's here on Tuesday mornings to talk about how to make sense of our investing. And I always enjoy talking with him. He always has words of wisdom. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Wonderful. What you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
That's great. That's great.
Always good to see Tuesdays roll around because you always have good words of wisdom for those folks. Those of us who have $1.298 or something like that.
$1.298. Yeah, that's about gas price now.
Well, I don't know. You find the gas out there?
I did, and I'll tell you, this is why I love Rutherford County. And I'm not, I went and found one place. It was Walmart Saturday, and yes, I was there for about 45 minutes. But I'll just tell you how people in Rutherford County work together. There was lines going out. I saw two people, one right in front of me on the other side of me that parked and couldn't get the hump around to his side. He was just flustered. But the person behind him backed up a little bit and said, just turn around, let him turn around, come in, get his spot, and move on. The person in front of me did the same thing, and they got really flustered, and they said, and I just said, look, if you go up there, turn around, I'm going to stay right here. You come back, and we'll get you gas. I had to back up so they could get out. I didn't think nothing of it. I got my gas. I pulled up, and then the line was so long, and I don't know how y'all can visualize this, but it was so long, but it kept getting narrower and narrower and narrower because I was going towards Walmart, and I couldn't get out. But all of a sudden, people just started working together. One person pulled out. The person behind them said, I'm not moving. So they wasn't trying to take their place, and they let me out and move on. And I'm just going to be truthful, as always. It was white people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people. It was all people working together. That's Rutherford County.
That's how it ought to be.
That is Rutherford. Nobody got angry at the persons that come in the wrong way. Nobody said, look, if you move, I'm taking your spot. I don't care. Everybody said, let's work together. and everybody knew they was going to sit there. Everybody got gas. It's calming down. That's Rutherford
No
County.
fisticuffs like they had out in eastern North Carolina.
Nope.
That's great. I'm glad to hear this.
Nobody got in a fight.
Glad to hear that.
Nobody shot a bird.
That's great.
Everybody smiled and said, "Y'all have a wonderful weekend."
That's
Here,
what
work
it
through
is.
here.
That's Rutherford County.
That is Rutherford. That's why I'm a Rutherford County Nadian. Not Canadian, but
Countyan.
Countyan, yeah.
What's on your mind today?
Well, let's think about financial reviews. Everybody that's working with an advisor, or if you hear the news, everybody recommends you do a financial review. It's like your health. It's always recommended you need to get a checkup once to twice a year. You need to check what's going on inside your body, not what you can see in the mirror all the time. So when you do a financial review, that's kind of similar. What is going on? You can see the outside. We see that gas prices are going up. Lumber prices are going up. We can see that inflation's going up. But what about the inside? How is this affecting your financial future? So today I just want to encourage everybody to think about finding time to do a financial review and what you should expect. Well, when you come in, it's going to be just like a doctor's going to ask you, how are you feeling? How are you feeling about your financial goals? How are you feeling now about your financial situation? Are you excited because your 401k has grown to a certain level, or are you nervous because it has grown to a certain level, but you don't know how long that's going to last? Should you make changes? What about your retirement picture? Has that changed? Because your portfolio has grown so much, are you thinking now maybe you can retire earlier? Maybe you're at that point where you said, I'm ready to retire, but I just don't know if I can. Or what about your family situation? Everything changes. From the last time you spoke with somebody, did you have a new addition to the family? Was there something that happened in the family that now is going to be a little more expensive for you? Things like that. And what about changes that need to be made so that you stay on track to your goals? We all have goals. In health, if I want to be in better shape and I want to do things, there's certain things I need to change. And it's not because I'm doing something wrong. It's because my body's changed. My age has changed. My outlook has changed. And I just need to revamp, not to change the plan, but revamp the plan. And that's what you want to do in a financial review.
I noticed you looked at me when you said ages change. I noticed you looked at me real hard there.
I did, because it's amazing to me how you keep getting younger and younger.
Boy, you covered that well.
You put me on the spot. It's because of Rutherford County people.
Rutherford County people. Good fresh air, good sunshine. Good fresh fruits and vegetables.
And great people.
There we go. Edward Tisdale, financial advisor with Edward Jones, 173 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. And that phone number is 287-9197. Area code, of course, is 828-287-9197. Hope you have a great week.
It will be. Y'all too.
Thanks.
See you
next week. 13 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we have news from here and there coming up here in just a moment.
Sciatica nerve pain has been a mystery for years. Sufferers have tried chiropractors, shots, and exercise with little relief. After suffering with sciatica nerve pain for 30 years, I tried CBD salve from Franny's Pharmacy. It worked. I couldn't believe the anti-inflammatory qualities the CBD salve has. I can now fall asleep with no pain. If you need some relief, go to the website www.sciaticaaid.com. That's www.sciaticaaid.com, or call 828-980-8461. That's 828-980-8461.
That's Mark Johnson. Mark Johnson's a friend of mine. Give him a call and check out more about this. I think you'll find it well worth your time and help it. Now let's look at some stories from here and there. Daily Courier is reporting, or no, this one didn't come from the Daily Courier. This will come straight from the Sheriff's Office. On Saturday, May 15th, deputies with the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded in the area of the Priest Road and Bostic Sunshine Highway, reference to a call for service regarding a male attempting to break into houses and vehicles. Deputy Cassandra McClug arrived on the scene and found the suspect at a residence on the Priest Road. Deputy McClug then attempted to detain the suspect, Manuel Galvin Elman, age 18, of Forest City. As Deputy McClug attempted to detain Elman, he started running from Deputy McClug and then tried to take her patrol vehicle. The deputy was able to deter Elman from taking her patrol vehicle. Elman then continued running on foot and ran across the road and was attempting to break into another residence when more deputies arrived on the scene. After a brief struggle with Elman, deputies were able to arrest him and take him into custody. Elman was charged with 2 counts of resisting a public officer, 1 count of assault and battery, 2 counts of misdemeanor attempted breaking and entering, 1 count of injury to real property, 1 count of felony breaking and entering a motor vehicle, 1 count of felony attempted larceny, and 1 count of assault on a government official. Elman was booked into the Rutherford County Slammer, where he received a $35,000 secured bond. Elman had a first appearance in Rutherford County District Court on May 17, 2021. See, the charges just kept adding on. If he had just stopped when he was told to stop, we would have not had a lot of those charges against him, but he thought he could outsmart them, I guess. The Forest City Police Department requests the public's assistance in identifying a larceny suspect. Suspect is a white female who stole the victim's debit card before proceeding to use it to buy $400 worth of items. This all occurred at the Forest City Walmart. Suspect left the area in a dark in-color Nissan Rogue with a South Carolina tag. The last 3 digits of the tag are 267. Please contact the Forest City Police Department if you know anything about this or know the vehicle or know the person. Call the police department at 286-2911 with any information you might have. Well, the Daily Courier is reporting that a petition was filed Friday requesting the release of law enforcement's body camera video of the fatal shooting of Ethan Calton. Rutherford attorney Andrew LaBreche filed the petition on behalf of Calton's family. The filing cites discrepancies and conflicting statements about the December 1, 2020 shooting as reasons for the need of the video's release. According to court documents, the family contends the video may shed more light on the facts of the case, says law enforcement's account of what happened during Calton's attempted arrest varies from others present at the scene. The State Bureau of Investigation has been investigating the shooting, which is standard procedure in officer-related shootings. Rutherford County Sheriff Chris Francis previously stated that his office has had no involvement in the independent probe that has been ongoing for more than 6 months. Calton was shot in the back at close range after 2 Rutherford County Sheriff's deputies and a federal agent rushed the suspect in an effort to serve an arrest warrant outside a residence at Edisto Drive. The petition claims deputies Tyler Green, Dylan Henderson, and Homeland Security Agent Joseph Milligan Micklin were wearing civilian clothes and driving an unmarked car when they physically confronted Calton from behind. That investigation continues, and we'll have more on that as stories develop. The East Rutherford Cavalier basketball program announced coaching changes for the 2022 season. Turner Kincaid will take the reins of the men's program from Larry Ross, who will return to the ladies' Cavs bench. Kincaid comes to Forest City from McDowell County High School, where he spent several years in various coaching roles for the Titans. East Rutherford principal Tim Tovinen said Kincaid stood out in the hiring process. Coach Kincaid has demonstrated the work ethic and relationship-building skills needed to guide his players to be successful in the classroom, on the court, and more importantly, life. Tovinen said he has been part of a successful basketball program as athlete and coach before coming to East Rutherford as our graduation coach. So congratulations to the coach. Family Resources is a step closer to having the funds to purchase a new van thanks to Saturday's successful poker run event. A poker run is an organized event in which the participants on motorcycles visit several different checkpoints, drawing a playing card at each checkpoint. The object is to have the best poker hand at the end of the run. The poker run was organized by the Royal Dragons, a motorcycle club based in the Harris community. Cyclists from 2 other motorcycle clubs also participated, the Chosen Brothers in Bostic and Casual Chaos in Marion. Ricky Griffin of the Royal Dragons said we had about 100 riders in all. Griffey was the chief organizer of the event, which began at 9:30 a.m. At 5:45 p.m., Guffey was able to present a check to Sherry Bright, Executive Director of Family Resources, in the amount of $6,477. Congratulations to the team that organized that and put all that effort into it. Many of you will remember the name Alan Leonard, former district attorney for 23 years, as well as being a local historian in Tryon. He died back in May of 2020 at the age of 72. Lieutenant Colonel Leonard also served as an advisor on legal issues to sheriff's departments across the state of North Carolina, also served in the Air National Guard and did 2 tours of duty in the Persian Gulf War and received several medals for his service. Well, they're remembering him. A local historian, former DA, the Tryon Daily Bulletin, is reporting that he is being remembered with recognition. The memorial service will be held at Harmon Field at 10 a.m. Saturday, May 22nd, an open-air tent across from the Packlet River from Tryon Arts and Crafts. Parking will be available at Tryon Arts and Crafts at the Tryon Presbyterian Church. The service will include military and law enforcement honors, including a 21-gun salute and the playing of taps by the Henderson County Honor Guard and the Henderson County Law Enforcement Honor Guard. There will also be music by bagpiper and Nashville firefighter David House, period fife and drum music by the 26th North Carolina Field Music and traditional Irish tunes by Irish Temperance. There will also be several speakers and a tribute to the local historian. He did a lot of history for the western North Carolina and also for Polk County and Tryon particularly. 21 minutes after 8 o'clock. Sheriff's Report coming up here in just a few moments. Let me remind you that when it's important for you to get those clothes for that special event, wedding, special homecoming events, or proms, or whatever you want, just to dress up nicely, go to Joy's Bridal there in the Tri-City Mall. They got a great line of clothing for brides, all the bride's attendants and the groom attendants. They can fix you up. Joy's not happy until you're happy, and she'll make sure that you're happy. Go see Joy. A lot of jewelry there, too, ladies, for any occasion. Even if you don't have a formal affair, you need to check out the jewelry selection at Joy's Bridal. Go see them there right in the Tri-City Mall. Now, we recorded Sheriff Chris Francis earlier this morning with a report, and here it is again. Sheriff?
All right, Jim, the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded to 168 calls of service. There have been 23 arrests processed at county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 171. Among those arrested, Ethan Mitchell King, a 31-year-old male of Boston, was charged with possession of controlled substance in prison. That happened at the Spindale campus there at the state prison. Received a $5,000 additional bond in addition to what sentence he's already serving. Keenan Jarrell Ramsey, 29-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with larceny and received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Tasha Phoenix Trotter, 42-year-old female of Forest City, was charged with failure to appear and received a $1,000 secured bond. Melinda Sue Fowler, 35-year-old female of Ellenboro, was charged with felony failure to appear and received a $10,000 secured bond. Anthony Ray Melton Jr., 37-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with 3 counts of breaking and entering into a motor vehicle and larceny and received a $15,000 secured bond. John Scott Carver, 67-year-old male of Rutherford, was charged with failure to appear, 6 counts, and received a $2,000 secured bond. Tony Wendell Bullock, 52-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with failure to comply, received a $250 cash bond. Donald Lee Spawn, 35-year-old male of Spindale, was charged with 3 counts of failure to appear, received a $1,250 secured bond. Jamie Jeanette Bailey, 29-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with 3 counts of breaking and entering to a motor vehicle, misdemeanor larceny, and possession with intent to sell and deliver, Schedule 2, and received an $11,000 secured bond. Bradley Aaron Dalton, 28-year-old male of Ellenboro, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 unsecured bond. Brandon Nicholas Sprouse, 23-year-old male of Union Mills, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secured bond. Nancy Marie Goose, 38-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secured bond. Haley Summers Ammons, 28-year-old female of Forest City, was charged with assault and received a district court judge for bond. Nathan Lee Aaron Hauser, 29-year-old of Mooresboro, was charged with assault with a deadly weapon, injury to property, received a $1,500 secured bond. Among our incidents, we had an injury to property and willful interfering with a firefighter, Highway 120 in Mooresboro. firefighters responded to report of several fires on the individual's property. That individual threw a tire iron and hit one of the fireman's, I believe, personal vehicle, as well as didn't want them to put out the fire. That's still under investigation by the fire marshal's office. We had a larceny of a motor vehicle, Mount Olive Church Road in Ellenborough. It was a 1995 Ford F-150, burgundy in color, valued at $1,100. It was reported at 9:45. The owner and a relative had stepped out to look at some timber and left the vehicle on the side of the road for just about 5 minutes, and they heard it take off. It was located just prior to 11 o'clock at the railroad crossing near Kaiser Road. Same had been wrecked and was on fire at the time that it was located, and that is still under investigation as well. We had a breaking and entering and larceny in Boston Sunshine Highway. It's a storage unit. There was a wooden dresser that was taken, a red suitcase set valued at $100, a black filing cabinet valued at $50, a blue and white steamer valued at $20, a gold trim full mirror valued at $150, and 2 dish sets valued at $60 taken in that instant. We had a larceny from Farmside Drive in Forest City. Individual sent money to a relative in Georgia to pick up a vehicle that she allegedly had won there. And this was, again, allegedly to pay for fees. Unfortunately, that relative took a large portion of that money, and she didn't get her money back or the vehicle that she allegedly had won, which I'm always worried that was a scam to begin with, but it was a relative she sent the money to, and did not get that money back or what was promised. And we had a breaking and entering to motor vehicle on Wallace Church Road in Boston. The dash had been gone through, but nothing appears to be missing. And Jim, that's what we have to report at this time.
The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate sheet cake is different. It's richer and chocolatier. Count on Bluebell to make it into milk chocolate ice cream with delicious chocolate sheet cake pieces, chopped pecans, and a chocolate icing swirl. It's fresh out of the oven. I mean freezing.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Bob Baffert has been temporarily suspended from entering horses at the New York racetracks pending an investigation of the failed drug test by Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit. Marv Albert, who's called sporting events for nearly 60 years, is now calling it a career. He's covered everything from football and boxing to hockey, baseball and tennis, but his more memorable stuff has been as an NBA play-by-play man with TNT and NBC.
Yes! From center court. Yes! Yes, and it counts!
Nowitzki, a
wild shot, yes! Ovation by Kawhi Leonard! Yes! Yes!
Albert, who turns 80 next month, has called 13 NBA Finals and 25 All-Star games for NBC and Turner, along with the Dream Team's romp and the gold medal at the '92 Olympics. He will retire after calling the NBA Eastern Conference Finals for TNT. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
We're going to see mostly dry conditions today, but we'll have to get past the small rain chance that we have in place early. By the afternoon, a lot of cloud cover will stick around, and we could see some of those clouds try to break apart. High temperatures today will top in the low to upper 70s and lower 80s. Tomorrow morning, we'll start the day with temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. By the afternoon, we'll reach the low to mid 80s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
62 degrees currently here at WCAB, 62 degrees and cloudy, but the rain is staying away from us for a while. I don't see any rain in the forecast whatsoever, but we do have summer conditions coming back up, including this weekend, Sunday, 91, 89 on Saturday, 91 on Sunday, and very little wind, so it's going to be hot, probably a little bit humid too, so be aware of that, but it's going to be great to be outdoors without the wind blowing so strong. You like that idea? Yep. Coming up this morning at 9:05, My Great America with Jim and Butch. If you've ever wondered firsthand what's happening over in the fighting right now over in Israel, we're going to have a firsthand report right on the grounds there in Israel. Report on what's taking place, how bad it is, and what to expect from it. It'll be a live report straight from Tel Aviv this morning during our show at 9:05. So please sure to tune that in if you ever wanted a firsthand report. Not from the news media, but from straight someone who's right on the ground there. We'll tune in at 9:05 this morning for My Great America with Jim and Butch, and we'll have that report for you from Tel Aviv this morning. Should be interesting to hear that. Well, the town of Rutherfordton is considering putting a place in town ordinance that would expand the current reach of existing laws on smoking and tobacco in public spaces. In fact, they're wanting to prohibit smoking in the town's buildings, vehicles, government grounds, parks, greenways, and public places in the town and at special events. Rutherford County Health Assessment shows that the rates of current smokers in the county currently use smokeless tobacco products are also nearly tripled since 2015. With that information, the report also calls for ways to decrease the use of tobacco and e-cigarettes in Rutherford County, including with support from local government. So they're trying to limit the smoking in public places. The town plays a critical role as convener partners and as an implement of community policies to enhance community overall health, said Mayor Jimmy Dancy. So they're looking for that. A public meeting will be held Wednesday, June 2nd at 5:30 at Town Hall on North Main Street. Residents can also send an email to Town Clerk Myra Short at mshort@rutherfordton.net with the words tobacco-free in the subject line for anyone who wants to express feedback. Emails will be received until June 2nd at 12 p.m. By considering the adoption of a 100% smoke and tobacco-free ordinance in the Rutherfordton Town Council said in a statement it is aiming to weigh the influence choices for healthier behaviors and to protect those at risk for exposure to secondhand smoke in its parks and public spaces. Rutherfordton recognizes its obligation to promote a healthy environment free from unwanted smoke and tobacco uses for everyone within the facilities and on its grounds. So if you have any comments, you can contact Rutherfordton. Well, as you know, I'm a dog lover. I love dogs, and with as much negative news out there anymore, I want to sort of start this segment off with some couple of good, positive dog stories and human stories. But as you know, kids are incredibly resilient, and when they face difficulties in life that make them stand out from a crowd, good parents do their best to highlight the positives and encourage their child's uniqueness, which is a good thing. But even those who have settled with their differences experience a loneliness that comes with feeling like no one else quite understands, and if they can find someone who does, then there's a bond that's formed forever. That happened recently for a family in Waconia, Minnesota, whose 7-year-old boy, Paxton, had his right foot amputated 3 years ago. Paxton was born very premature, and an infection in his leg caused a number of difficulties, leading his parents, Blaine and Stephanie Williams, to make the tough decision to have his foot amputated. This year, Barb Felt, who raises golden retrievers under the name Rolling Oaks Goldens, had a unique puppy born in one of her litters. The pup was missing her right front paw. In many cases, a breeder would see this as a deficiency and only think of how difficult it would be to place a pup with such a condition, but Felt saw the potential. When she was born, we knew right away she had a special purpose. She told WCCO-TV, "We wanted her to go into a home with someone who had a limb difference." So the two families connected through Paxton's occupational therapist, and the pup went to the Williams for a trial run once she was old enough. Meet Marvel. She's now 9 weeks old and loves to snuggle and give lots of kisses. Rolling Oaks Goldens shared on April 30th. As many of you know, we have been looking for options to donate her once she was old enough. We did find a family that has a child with a limb difference, just like Marvel. Today, Marvel went to her home, her new home, on a trial to see if this is her forever home. Thank you to everyone in helping us name her. We choose Marvel because her new owner has a love for the Avengers and made the final choice of Marvel. Things seem to have been going very well, and Marvel gets along great with everyone in her new family. So the little boy found a little dog that missing a left paw, and the little boy was missing a left foot. So he's hold his sign up. Those who are watching online, he's got a sign that says, "Marvel, I love you," if you see that or not, but it's a cute story, love story there about dogs. Another dog story, and I know there are many of you out there who love dogs like I do. Last week at Point Defiance Park in Tacoma, Washington, parkgoers were treated to a horrifying sight. It's unclear what drew Good Samaritan's attention to a bathroom at the park, but whether it was puppies crying or the call of nature, at some point someone discovered that there were dogs shut up in the bathroom. Not just one dog, but 12 dogs. And as the Humane Society for Tacoma and Pierce County pointed out, that wasn't the worst part. It was a mama and her puppies that had been abandoned. Inside the bathroom, the sweet girl had been tied to a suitcase. And inside the suitcase were her small, frail, 1-week-old puppies. Their tiny cries echoed in the bathroom as they huddled together for warmth. The mom, who has since been named Oolong, was very hungry and emaciated, and when they got to the rescue, she's now on a special diet to make sure she can get back to health, according to KCPQ-TV. The puppies, who were just 1 week old, have their own issues to contend with and were diagnosed with juvenile cellulitis, also known as puppy strangles, a rare condition in puppies that can be hereditary. The condition can cause facial and swelling and skin lesions. The rescue got the medical care, but the costs associated with treatment are steep, and they've reached out for help. So far, their Facebook fundraiser has raised over $1,500. These 12 dogs are lucky to be alive, but they're safe right now, and the donation that people have provided will help to cover their medical care, rehabilitation, and foster home and love. With your help, these dogs will never again feel alone and frightened, and once they have been healed, they'll have the chance to find the loving homes they deserve. Samantha and Trevor LaFontaine have taken the family in and are fostering all 12 of them. Puppies have all been given tea and coffee-themed names. Trevor was also one of the people who originally discovered the dogs in the bathroom at the park, bringing the rescue full circle. Samantha LaFontaine told KCPQ, "I really just wanted to do something for this poor mom who had been left in a bathroom with all her babies in a suitcase. The dogs have made marked improvement, and even though the puppies are still quite young, LaFontaine is already looking forward to when they can start their lives in new caring homes, especially since she and Trevor already have 3 foster fellows of their own." So another great story. Somebody cared about dogs. All righty, let's see what else is going on. The rest of the stuff is not quite as more heartwarming as those 2 stories, but maybe it depends on how you're looking at news. But North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper on Friday, as you know by now, ended the state's capacity limits on businesses and nearly all of the remaining statewide mask-wearing mandates, returning the state to almost normal operations after 15 months marked by COVID-19 lockdowns and limits. How many of you are glad to get the mask off? Yes, I see those hands out there. Now put your hand back on the steering wheel. The Democratic governor of the nation's 9th largest state announced the lifting of gathering limits requirements 2.5 weeks before June 1st, the day by which he had previously said he wanted to rid the state of social distancing requirements. Restrictions had been scaled back slowly in recent months, and this change came kind of surprisingly announced, kind of surprisingly. I don't know if folks were expecting it to happen when it did, but I'm glad it did. North Carolina expects to lift COVID-19 restrictions by June 1st, except mask mandate, Cooper said. Cooper said he was prompted to act by continued stable and improving statistical trends for the coronavirus, as well as Thursday's decision by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to ease mask-wearing guidance indoors for people who are fully vaccinated. The number of daily confirmed cases and COVID-19-related hospitalizations continued to trend downward in North Carolina. So that's good news for all of us. Just keep washing your hands good, brushing your teeth good, brushing your tongue good, and let's get on with our lives. 20 minutes before 9. Don't forget this morning, 9:05, My Great America with Jim and Butch got a special report live from Tel Aviv this morning on what's happening over there with the battle that's taking place. We'll give you firsthand information straight from Tel Aviv this morning, live here on the program. Well, you have to hand it to President Joe Biden. When he bought into the far left's cancel culture, he bought it into it all the way. No half measures there for sure. He didn't buy into it halfway. He bought the whole shebang. From the moment the former Delaware senator launched his presidential campaign, he's been on this Trump's a racist, his supporters are racist, and all of America's institutions are systematically racist tirade. On his first day in office, Biden abolished former President Donald Trump's 1776 commission by executive order. The stated purpose of the group was to enable a rising generation to understand the history and principles of the founding of the United States in 1776 and to strive to form a more perfect union. Those of you who regularly listen to this program know that I've preached a long time about the revisionists out there who want to revise history, make it different from what actually happened. And this 1776 project was going to enable a rising generation to understand the history and the principles of our founding fathers. But on his first day of office, Mr. Biden abolished that commission. Well, Biden went further down the cancel culture path last week via executive order. He both revoked protections Trump put in place regarding existing monuments and nixed plans for a sculpture garden dedicated to celebrating American heroes. As those of you know that President Trump was a great believer in our veterans and very supportive of our veterans, and he wanted to put a garden dedicated to celebrating American heroes. Well, Biden canceled that. Trump announced both last summer when racial protesters were tearing down statues of such revered figures as George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses Grant, and Frederick Douglass. You probably heard some of those names. I bet you know some of them. Relying on existing law, the 45th president issued an executive order calling for a 10-year prison sentence for those engaging in such conduct toward federal monuments, and unsurprisingly, it stopped. Yep, it stopped. When you put the word out there that we ain't going to have this no more, it stopped. Well, during his speech at Mount Rushmore celebrating Independence Day last summer, former President Trump said, "I am pleased to report that yesterday federal agents arrested the suspected ringleader of the attack on the statue of the great Andrew Jackson in Washington, D.C., and in addition, hundreds more have been arrested." Well, during the address, which was among the best of his presidency, he also announced plans to build a National Guard of American Heroes. Trump said Americans must never lose sight of this miraculous story. Nobody has ever done it like we've done it. So today, under the authority vested in me as President of the United States, I'm announcing the creation of a new monument to the giants of our past. I'm signing an executive order to establish a National Garden of American Heroes, a vast outdoor park that will feature the statues of the greatest Americans who ever lived. Isn't that a great thing? Well, Biden doesn't think so. He pulled the plug, and you have to ask why. Because America's systematically racist? Come on, give me a break. The U.S. is the most diverse, dynamic, and benevolent nation on the face of the earth. Yes, it's true that the country has not always lived up to its highest ideals. We have had those bumps in the road and scars on our faces expressed in the Declaration of Independence, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It has striven successfully upward toward that calling. We strive for those. It doesn't say we're endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and happiness. It says the pursuit of happiness. Many times over the history of our nation, the American people have taken action, both here and abroad, to further the cause of freedom unto God. Some of those times were during the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War II, during the Civil Rights era of 1950s and 60s. It's a shame that Joe Biden has bought into the far left's council culture mindset, because America's heritage is definitely worth protecting and celebrating. Why he wants to destroy that is beyond me, other than the pressure from the extreme left. And if he doesn't have enough backbone to stand up for what he knows to be the right thing to do, then shame on him. 15 minutes before 9 o'clock, and I'll be back in just a moment.
What do the days of the week, the seas, and the colors in a rainbow have in common? Did you guess the number 7? There's no denying 7's power. It's elemental. Unlock that power with new 7 scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery with over $160 million in total prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.12 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Now, wouldn't it be nice to get medical attention and not have to leave your home? Now you can, thanks to Remote MD. Remote MD is pleased to announce they have initiated a telemedicine program for residents in North Carolina. The telemedicine program is available to all residents in North Carolina, including Rutherford and Polk counties. It is designed to treat common medical illnesses right from your home. Now, isn't that great? No appointment is necessary, no waiting for days to see someone. This is a wonderful opportunity for people who are struggling financially or have a complicated insurance plan. But your health is important to you and you want attention now. There are no copays or deductible, and unlimited usage programs start at just $59.99 a month. Learn more about this program. Contact Remote MD today at www.remotemd.net. Again, that's www.remotemd.net.
This is for those who always show they care, who told their kids everyone 12 and older is eligible for a COVID vaccine. Those who explain to their cousins that vaccines prevent nearly 100% of hospitalizations and deaths from COVID-19. This is for the ones protecting those they love. Thank you.
We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I'm happy to share good news with you. If you have a septic tank on your property, you'll be glad to know there is a new professional pumper in town, Mid-South Pumping, owned and operated by one of our own, John Torvinen. Mid-South Pumping serves local communities such as Rutherford, Polk, Cleveland, McDowell, and Lake Lure, offering a wide variety of services at affordable prices. Get it done before summer gets here and really gets bad, if you know what I mean. Mid-South Pumping offers around-the-clock services to ensure your business doesn't become everyone else's. Count on Mid-South Pumping for pumping septic tanks, locating services, uncovering septic tank lids, and more. Make that call to Mid-South Pumping in Rutherfordton at 828-755-6280. And we're just minutes away from ABC News, top of the hour. Then My Great America with Jim and Butch, 9:05 this morning. Get a live report on the grounds of Tel Aviv and what's going on over there. We'll get a first-hand look at that. So stand by. Well, people are beginning to recognize and see, and a lot of folks, even in the national negative fake news people, are beginning to recognize that they need to come forward. 4 years late, New York Times finally admits Trump's dossier was fake. The New York Times was a major promoter of the now debunked Trump-Russian election conspiracy narrative, which featured the infamous Steele dossier of outlandish and salacious claims about President Trump. Republican investigators turned up evidence that the document compiled by former British spy Christopher Steele was an opposition research project funded by Hillary Clinton's campaign and the Democratic National Committee. What's more, ironically, it was based largely on Russia propaganda fed to Steele by a single source. Now the New York Times has published a feature by former Times investigative reporter Barry Meir, acknowledging many of the claims in the dossier have never materialized or have been proved false. Meir said he knocked on the door of Steele's home in Farnham, England, in his research of a book on the business of private intelligence. During the 2016 presidential campaign, he recalled Steele had been hired by an investigative firm called Fusion GPS to gather dirt about Donald J. Trump and Russia. And at that time, Meir wrote those involved with the dossier were intent on controlling its narrative and eager to capitalize on their fame. But the glow has faded now, noting the collapse of the dossier's most explosive claims, like salacious P-tape featuring Mr. Trump or a supposed meeting in Prague between Michael Cohen, Mr. Trump's former attorney, and Russian operatives. So they have now decided to say, well, it really wasn't true. It was really fake. They sure waited a long time, didn't they? You know, with the crisis at the border, with all the thousands of people coming across illegal, and all the things that are taking place on the border, inflation rates going up, prices of gasoline going up, cost of gasoline through a pipeline, and all the folks laid off from work, all those things that are going on. President Biden is most proud of the fact he said we have made historic appointments of LGBTQI plus individuals to the highest levels of our government. He's bragging about that, but yet he can't do a thing about the border, of which is killing America and the economy. President Joe Biden put out a statement yesterday saying that he and First Lady Jill Biden are proud to recognize the International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia, which was observed yesterday. He said, my administration will always stand with the LGBTQI plus community. They keep adding another letter to this. I don't know. It's going to be the whole alphabet before you know it. It's just called LGBTQXYZ. I don't know what all that is. But they've rolled back discriminatory policies targeting LGBTQ plus Americans, and we have made historic appointments of LGBTQ1 plus individuals to the highest level of our government. They're proud of that fact that they're putting these folks who think God made a mistake in building them, but yet they're letting these people walk across the border. He says everyone is entitled to dignity and equality, no matter who they are, whom they love, or how they identify. We will continue to engage in allies and partners to advance the human rights of LGBTQXYZ people here at home and in all the corners of the world. So that's what they're proud of in this administration. So there you go. All right, a couple more stories here. I got to make room here for my great America. Where would you spend your golden years if you had a choice? Many of you say right here in North Carolina, right here in Rutherford County. Yes. A new study shows North Carolina is the number 9 best state for older adults in 2021. SeniorLiving.org released a study yesterday on best states for older adults in 2021 using the most recent data from the U.S. Census Bureau and the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid. The rankings were determined by analyzing 15 categories for each state on taxes and finances, health and medicine, and lifestyle and culture. Several key reasons older adults should choose North Carolina. Number 6, lowest average monthly marketplace premium after tax credit. Number 9, warmest state with an average temperature of 61 degrees. Number 13, best culture ranking. The 5 best states for older adults include Florida, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Delaware, and Massachusetts. The 5 worst states for older adults include Montana, Connecticut, Indiana, Washington, and West Virginia. But North Carolina is number 9. Isn't that great? And we're working to become number 1. We sure are. We'll make this note if you want to go. Former President Donald Trump will be speaking at the North Carolina's annual State Republican Party convention next month. He'll speak in person at the June 5th convention dinner in Greenville, North Carolina. Trump narrowly carried North Carolina in 2020 and held numerous events in the state toward the end of the campaign. Trump's speech will be closed to the media, and journalists won't be able to view it via live stream or alternate forums, according to Levi Poland, a spokeswoman for the North Carolina GOP. He's relatively kept a low profile since leaving office. His last significant public speech was in February at the CPAC convention. He's still banned from Twitter, Facebook, and his public comments have largely come in the form of written statements and calling into right-leaning news outlets. But they're going to not let the press in to take it down. So he'll be speaking at the North Carolina Republican Convention next month in June. So maybe some of you want to go. We'll see. 8:54, just minutes away from an update on update on ABC National News, and then 9:05, My Great America with Jimmy Butch, and a live report from Tel Aviv on that case this morning. Braves baseball this evening. We have another Braves game tonight against the Mets. Mets beat them last night 3-1. They have the Mets tonight and tomorrow night. And we'll see how they do with the Mets after losing last night. They had a tough weekend too, but it's coming right up. Well, some of you will be glad to hear this. 39 million families to receive monthly child payments in July. The Treasury Department said Monday that 39 million families are set to receive monthly child payments beginning July 15th. The payments are part of President Biden's $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package, which expanded the child care credit for 1 year and made it possible to prepay the benefits on a monthly basis. Nearly 88% of children are set to receive the benefits without their parents needing to take any additional action. We got all kinds of money. Here you go. Here's some. Qualified families will receive a payment of up to $300 per month for each child under 6, and up to $250 a month for children between the ages of 6 and 17. The child tax credit was previously capped at $2,000 and only paid out to families with income tax obligations after they filed with the IRS. But for this year, couples earning $150,000 or less can receive the full payments on the 15th of each month, in most cases by direct deposit. The benefits total $3,600 annually for children under 6, $3,000 for those who are older. The IRS will determine eligibility based on the 2019 and 2020 tax years. The president has proposed an extension of the increased child tax credit through 2025 as part of his $1.8 trillion families plan. Outside analysts estimate that the payments could essentially halve child poverty. The expanded credits could cost roughly $100 billion a year. Got all kinds of money out there, folks. All right, I got to move out of here now and make room for some other stuff. Got to rest the old vocal cords here and sip a little water, get ready for My Great America with Jim and Butch. All that's coming up straight ahead. Thank you for being a part of my audience this morning. Love to hear from you. Thanks for commenting from time to time. When you tell me that you enjoy my comments, that's like telling a Southern Baptist preacher amen is like sick 'em. You're saying sick 'em to them. So I appreciate it, but it does encourage me. Thank you so very much.
ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. The CDC's new masking recommendations continue leading to confusion as states and businesses decide on their own when to change things up. Dr. Anthony Fauci says the decision on when to change happened when it did because of evolving data on vaccines.
Before the CDC made the recommendation change, I didn't want to look like I was giving mixed signals. But being a fully vaccinated person, the chances of my getting infected in an indoor setting is extremely low. And that's the reason why in indoor settings now, I feel comfortable about not wearing a mask because I'm fully vaccinated.
Dr. Fauci on Good Morning America says because of the threat of spread, those who are not vaccinated, including children, should still wear a mask, especially indoors. Israeli police say 2 workers inside Israel were killed in a strike launched from the Gaza Strip. Rocket fire and airstrikes continuing as Palestinians call for a region-wide strike across Israel.
President Biden has spoken to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu 3 times since last Wednesday. In their conversation Monday, the president for the first time conveyed his support for a ceasefire between the Israelis and Hamas. But in the readout of that call provided by the White House, the president did not set a firm deadline and stopped short of calling for an immediate end to the violence. The Biden administration is under increasing pressure from Democrats to take a tougher stand on Israel's response and to show support for the Palestinians. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Flash flooding and more rain on the way in parts of the South.
Wind, rain, and flooding slamming areas of Lake Charles and Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Connie Davis had to be saved from her home by an emergency rescue unit.
At least 2 foot of water in the house.
It was worse on the roads with flooded out cars.
Never seen it this high before.
Governor John Bel Edwards issuing an emergency declaration due to the flooding.
ABC's Derek Dennis, flash flood warnings in effect for New Orleans as well. You're listening to ABC News.
I'm former U.S. Counterterrorism Officer Drew Berquist. In a one-party controlled country whose policies continue to move further to the left, it's hard to find a group willing to stand up for the right. That's why we created Mammoth Nation. We're standing strong for all Americans. Mammoth Nation is America's conservative discount club. As a member, you get great discounts, massive savings on travel, shopping, wireless, sporting goods, even prescriptions. Membership supports conservative businesses and the causes that you care about, like the Wounded Blue. For every total wellness plan purchased, Mammoth Nation will donate a plan to a police officer in need. This provides critical support to our law enforcement community. It's just one of the things that makes Mammoth Nation so great. And it's so affordable. If you join now, you get a 30% discount on an annual membership. Normally $29, this month, just $19. It can pay for itself with just one purchase, so go to MammothNation.com and become a lifetime member today.
In Dallas, an 18-year-old now facing questions in connection with the murder of a 4-year-old boy whose body was left in a street over the weekend. Police say surveillance video shows the suspect, 18-year-old Darren Brown, taking the boy from his bed Saturday morning. Cameron Morey lives in the same house.
It shows him coming in, took him while he was asleep. While he's asleep. Carried him out of my house while he's asleep.
Brown right now is facing kidnapping charges. Lawmakers in Alabama have ended their legislative session without a vote on one of the most controversial bills before them, a proposed ban on gender-affirming medical treatments for transgender minors. Opponents of the bill called a victory for the trans community. The Alabama State Senate approved the bill in March, but it never came up for a vote in the House. Meanwhile, in France,
the French Rugby Federation announcing it will allow transgender women to play women's rugby as of next season, a decision that breaks with the guidelines issued by rugby's governing body, which said last year that after months of research, it had, quote, concluded that safety and fairness cannot presently be assured for women competing against trans women in contact rugby, end quote. The president of France's Rugby Federation saying rugby is, quote, an inclusive, sharing sport without distinction of sex, gender, origin, or religion. Inez de la Quatera, ABC News, Paris.
This is ABC News.
O'Reilly. Don't miss out on Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. If your car could use a spring cleaning, stop by for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new. Like Mother's California Gold Wash and Wax, just $4.99 for a 64-ounce bottle. That's a $6 savings. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
We're going to see mostly dry conditions today, but we'll have to get past the small rain chance that we have in place early. By the afternoon, a lot of cloud cover will stick around, and we could see some of those clouds try to break apart. High temperatures today will top in the low to upper 70s and lower 80s. Tomorrow morning, we'll start the day with temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. By the afternoon, we'll reach the low to mid 80s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Good morning, Butch. Good morning, Jim. You know, it's always great to see you. We've got a very special program today. The world is watching as Israel and the whole geopolitical realities of the Middle East are again being pulled into focus right there in Israel. And we're going to have a very special guest on today, Uri Steinberg. He's going to be calling from Tel Aviv, and he's going to give us a from-the-ground report on exactly what's taking place. He and I have known each other for 20-some-odd years, done work together. He was formerly the Commissioner of Tourism. He was in the consulate there in New York. He was part of a special Israeli Defense Forces reconnaissance unit, and tells me that some of the things he can't go into a lot of detail on there. Highly educated, an incredible spokesperson. He's actually visited us here in Rutherford County before. He and I are working on a couple of projects together, but given everything that's happening in the news, you have often said it's so important to get to the truth of things, and you can't do better than getting right to the source. Isn't that true?
It'd be great to have this story unfiltered, not get filtered through the news media. It'd be great. He's right there at the battlefront, so to speak. Be good to get his response from that.
Right, and so in just a couple of minutes, we're going to be hearing from him. But I want to remind everyone that I really believe with strong conviction, America's been made great in part because of its unshakable commitment to Israel. When Israel was founded as a nation in 1948, it brought to fruition biblical prophecy that is just filled in Scripture. And it's a strong conviction that you and I both have that our standing with Israel has been part of the blessing that this nation has had. And for biblical support on that, real quickly, before we speak to Uri from Tel Aviv, don't forget what it says in Genesis 12, starting in verse 1. Now in Haran, the Lord said to Abram, go for yourself, for your own advantage, away from your country, from your relatives and your father's house, to the land that I will show you, and I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you with abundant increase of favors, and make your name famous and distinguished, and you will be a blessing, dispensing good to others, which of course the modern state of Israel does. And then verse 3, and I will bless those who bless you, who confer prosperity or happiness upon you, and curse him who curses or uses insolent language toward you, and your family, all of your families and kindred of the earth will be blessed, and by you they will bless themselves. So it's the Abrahamic covenant. It's a promise, and it is for us today. And you know, Jim, you know about loyalty when you're in a fight and your friends stick with you, don't you?
Absolutely right. And it's amazing to see the things that are taking place today that the Bible talks about taking place before the end of time. And we see it in almost in real time, the things that are happening, even in the Israel and the Holy Land, and what's happening right here in America.
Okay, I'm getting a little text here from where he said, can we push it to 9:15, which of course we will.
Yeah, sure.
We'll give him a call. You know, I'll tell you real quickly, my journey with Israel, Jim, because some people have asked, goes back to when I was young, and I remember being in church and hearing all the stories about the Bible and the land of the Bible, and it was put into me at a young age that Israel wasn't just another country. It was God's special and chosen people. And then you fast forward up to about 1991, and the Israel Ministry of Tourism, and of course tourism is a very strong driver in the GDP for the national economy there in Israel. They put out what they call a tender, where they were looking for an advertising agency that would market to the Christian market as a market, which is one of the most significant tourism markets that exists for them. And so they put out requests, and we ended up at the KMA Companies, where I was a partner in Dallas, being one of the firms to be asked to compete for that work. And it was over 70 firms. And these were big firms, J. Walter Thompson and others that did Ford Motor Company. So it was our own kind of David and Goliath story. We were a reasonably good-sized firm. We were about 120 employees, but not compared to ones that had $1 billion in revenue. So through a series of circumstances, it got whittled down and whittled down and whittled down, and we made the cut to the final three. And I had the privilege to be the presenter, along with Dr. David Clark, who was my partner in that endeavor. And as God would have it, and by his providence and plan and blessing, we won that work. There was an article in Advertising Age that talked about the fact that this improbable firm out of Dallas, Texas, won the work. And that started me on a journey 30 years ago that involved multiple trips to Israel, some consulting work with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, with the Ministry of Tourism. When they would have a change of government, I would often fly to Israel and be the one to brief different officials on the Christian market as a market. And so through all of that, there's been a tremendous sense of, Israel has been weighed in the balance so many times through the years. And yet again, they're being tested and being proven in this conflict that we have. Now, Jim, the other thing that I have found through the years, and it's been so important to know, is that as you look at Israel, it has so many things that are different than any other nation in the world. You're talking about a country that's about the size of New Jersey. You're talking about a country that is both narrow and long, but you can drive it easily in a handful of hours. You're talking about a place that disproportionately produces patents for all sorts of medical inventions, agricultural inventions. It's a hub of prosperity and touching the world. And there are a lot of stories behind the story that you just don't hear. For example, with the Israel Defense Forces, typically what they'll do is they'll go in and let people know we're going after terrorists, vacate these buildings, get out of these buildings because we're going to have to take them down. From a humanitarian standpoint, Israel is often one of the first countries to respond to the needs of hurricanes or landslides or earthquakes or tsunamis. They have even helped nations, Jim, through the years that don't officially acknowledge their existence, but because of their humanitarian bent, Israel is often one of the countries sending doctors or sending assistance or sending all sorts of humanitarian aid to nations around the world. And so for a nation that has more journalists per square mile, we're told, than any other country in the world, anytime anything happens, it gets reverberated, and they deal with tremendous disinformation about what's taking place there, which is why we want to hear firsthand from Uri about what's really taking place in Israel today.
From another vantage point, Israel has a tremendous military. I admire their practice in getting folks prepared for defending themselves, because they've had to defend themselves for ages, so they're really fully prepared for that. I think, our family, our American family, have been friends of the Jewish community as long as I can remember, but I shudder to think now, Butch, that there may be those in leadership right now that's not in favor of that. They're opposing that and on the side of those folks who are enemies of the Jewish community, and it bothers me to think about those folks that making decisions in that respect.
No question. Of course, my church, Word of Faith Fellowship, has had a strong Israel connection for many years. Of course, one of the local treasures here in the county is the Holocaust Museum that Carol Reynolds and others and our young people have put together, that has been acknowledged, right, and been exposed to, right up to Bibi Netanyahu. He's been made aware of the Holocaust Museum right here in Rutherford County. And we know from everything that's currently taking place that in terms of biblical prophecy, it's not a surprise. But we still need to be sober-minded, and we need to know what truth is. And so in the spirit of that, I'm going to give Uri a call right now, and let's see if we can get him on the line.
That'd be great. I'm excited about hearing him speak from right there in Tel Aviv.
Okay, I have to go.
Uri.
Hey, Butch.
Okay, you are on the air. You are
hello, and good morning, North Carolina.
well, and I'm here with I'm here with Jim Bishop, and of course you can look at us through the wonder of technology. You can look at us there on the live stream. Uri, you know what? We're going to make sure that we don't use a lot of flowery phrases here. I'm just going to open this up by saying you're a brother from a different mother. You're as close to me as any friend, and you and I have traversed many paths together, both in your work as the North American Commissioner for Tourism, but beyond that, even now in your consulting work. Give a quick nutshell. Who is Uri Steinberg? Rather than me read your vitae, why don't you just tell us real quickly about your vocational path?
Wow. So I'm a ninth generation Israeli, which is kind of a rare thing in our area. I was born 46 years ago. Grew up in a Jewish Israeli modern Orthodox home. Served for more than 3 years in the Special Reconnaissance Army and the IDF in the Israeli Defense Forces, and afterwards 20 years as a reserve soldier in the same unit. After graduating from my master's in the Hebrew University and doing foreign service cadets course, I was sent for several, I would say, postings abroad. All of them were around trying to market the state of Israel, trying to educate people about the state of Israel,
right?
Trying to connect people to the state of Israel. In my last diplomatic posting, I was Israel's tourism commissioner to North America, which meant basically that I was in charge of trying to assist people to get to Israel, to convince them to go to Israel, to do various marketing and advertising and PR efforts for the state of Israel. And through this journey that I had in the United States and North America in general, I've had the blessing and the opportunity to be exposed for the first time ever to the broader Christian community in the United States, and grew to really, first it was out of curiosity, and then it was just out of sheer love for this outpour of love that I received whenever I met evangelical Christians. One of them is Mr. Butch Maltby, who is, for me, an inspiration, kind of the wise man in so many different stories that you read as a kid. This is, for me, Butch Maltby. And like him, I've met so many people that I was just fascinated, which helped me to better understand those ancient Judeo-Christian values and foundations that we all live upon, and how important it is for me to try to be this conduit into the Jewish Israeli society of what you guys are doing abroad. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, who I am. And I'm also a Chicago Bears fan, if that matters.
That's a great nutshell. Well, you know what? A wise sage here, older wise sage here in Rutherford County for me is Jim Bishop. And Uri, we're going to jump right in, and he's going to ask you some questions about what's going on the ground there.
Good morning, Uri. How are you doing? Good to talk with you.
Good to talk to you too, Jim. Thank you.
Tell us exactly. You're there right in the front thing. We get filtered down news from everywhere. Hey, we want a first-hand report from you. What's taking place right now in Tel Aviv?
Well, actually, right now, as we speak, it has been relatively calm 24 hours. When I say relatively calm, of course, we've had townships and small cities south from us, I would say, 20 miles south of Tel Aviv, that are still experiencing rockets, not to the same degree that they were experiencing a couple of days ago, but still experiencing it. It seems, from a naked eye and from trying to gaze in and to look back into our past experiences, it seems that we are slowly but surely, drifting into some sort of a ceasefire. So that's really where things stand right now. It's extremely fragile, but it seems that the volume of attacks, of Israeli attacks, and the volume of Hamas attacks are
Larry, you were talking to me here a couple of days ago, and the way that you described being with your children in a shelter when these Katyusha rockets, and other rockets, which people don't realize, for some of the lower grade rockets that they have, when they shoot them off, they don't even realize where they're going. And a little known fact that very few people are hearing about in the mainstream media are the people that have been killed on the Palestinian side because of errant rockets that don't go in the right direction and blow up and kill people there. But describe for us, for American families, moms and dads and others, describe what it's like to be with your children and have to try to explain to them and comfort them. Being a father or mother is a universal value. Talk a little bit about that, because I also know you as Uri Steinberg, the father.
Yeah, that's obviously the toughest experience in this whole thing, when it really hits home, and when sirens go off. And yes, we know that we have Iron Dome that is protecting us.
Explain for people, explain for people what that is. Yeah.
Sure. Iron Dome is a sophisticated system of missiles that are targeting and intercepting missiles. It was developed by Israel with a very, very healthy and incredible funding by the United States government. So you're responsible for that as well. That basically allows Israel to, on an ongoing basis, intercept probably 95% of all missiles that are being shot to Israel. The system calculates the route of the missile, and then shoots itself to its track and explodes on its track when they two intercept. And basically, kind of eliminates the danger of such rockets to hit a population center. It's not hermetic, so it doesn't really cover everything, but in most cases, it does the work incredibly. So we've had thousands of rockets that were shot, all of them shot at civilian centers in Israel. Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, various towns and cities that are closer to Gaza. It's, of course, worth mentioning, all of them were shot all of them were shot at civilians with no differentiation whatsoever, with no consideration whatsoever. But being in the situation where you hear the sirens, you hear the explosions above your head of the Iron Dome intercepting, and you pray that this will not be one of those 5% where the rockets is able to go through this network of defense. And there's something very terrifying as a father in this situation, but also something that sharpens the understanding of right versus wrong. Who can be a person who shoots at civilian centers to hurt civilians just because they're Jews? It's not about targeting the army, targeting the soldiers, targeting the policemen. It's about targeting women, children, and it's something that is unforgivable as far as we're concerned. And we see again how the Israeli side has shown the moral upper hand, that we are doing the utmost that we can in order not to harm civilians, in order not to harm children and women and elderly as much as we can. Of course, we are facing an evil jihadist, extremist organization that is actually using its own people as a shield, and unfortunately, women and children are being hurt. And if there's something that I will not forgive, is the fact that the other side here, this extreme side, is forcing me to defend me and my family by sometimes, unfortunately, unfortunately hurting small, innocent children.
Ari, Jim Bishop here again. Is the bombing isolated pretty much just in Tel Aviv, or how widespread is the bombing across the country?
So we are approximately 40 miles north of Gaza Strip. Mind you, this is a very small country. As years passed, and we did not take care of this extremist organization, and we did not. We let it go wild, thinking that extreme jihadist organizations are just going to evaporate somehow. The range of the missile continued to grow when they continued to receive funding from their financier, Iran. At the end of the day, Hamas is a proxy of Iran, and their rockets became smarter, the range became wider, and then now Tel Aviv and even cities north of Tel Aviv are very much on part of the are on the range. So you're talking about cities like Ashkelon and Sderot, which are approximately 10 kilometers or 7 miles away from Gaza, which makes it very easy to hit civilians because they have a very short time to get into secure areas, to their shelters. And there, the people in the southern side of Israel, near Gaza, are the families that are being hit time and time again. They're sleeping in their shelters for the last week. They've seen burnt cars. They've seen the destruction. Fortunately, people have shelters that they go to. We've got Iron Dome. So altogether, the number of casualties on our side, thank God, is relatively minimal.
Uri, as I think about the prospect of what Israel faces, it's a nation that has weathered many storms before. For the most part, as a nation, we've been arm in arm through these. You've come to know the evangelical and the Christian community as well as any Israeli that I know. And as such, you've got the stewardship responsibility to be that bridge builder that you are. And so as we close the program today, and we want to have you back on, when you come back on, let's talk about some of the consulting projects that you're working on, including Salt of the Earth and Evan, the Temple Mount stones that are being unearthed that you're trying to help preserve. There's so many interesting stories there. We're going to, if it's okay with Jim, because Jim is the grand poobah here. I'm his understudy. If it's okay with him, we're just going to make you, conscript you as our Israel correspondent for My Great America and have you on from time to time.
It's a great idea.
I'd love that. I'd be honored.
Well, as we close the program today, we're instructed as followers of the Messiah in our faith to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And so, Uri, if you'd stay with us, we're going to say a prayer as we close. Blessings to you and your dear daughters. How your family's well?
Yes.
Great.
They're all is well.
Great. Well, as we close, we're going to pray today, and then you and I will touch base later. So, living God, we are so grateful that you give us the privilege to walk arm in arm with your people, the land of the Bible. We are a people who knows that as we bless Israel, you will bless us. And so it's out of that covenant that we walk arm in arm with our friend. We pray peace and blessing and wisdom on he and his wife and his children. We ask for wisdom for our nation in the days ahead. Help us not to move the ancient landmarks. Help us not to forget those Ebenezer stones, those places of you encountering our life that changed us forever. And God, as you give us strength and purpose and direction and grace and the mercy we need new every morning, as you do that, God, we will accomplish your purposes on this earth. So we go before this day, acknowledging you, God, and your greatness. And it's in the holy name of our Savior Jesus we pray. Amen. Uri, thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us. We sure appreciate your time today.
Thank you, and shalom from far Israel, but close at heart.
Thank you, Uri. Our love of Israel, is part of what makes America great, Jim, and what a wonderful chance to just feel close again with our brothers and sisters in Israel. Supporting Israel is part of what's made America great.
For My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.